Hey guys, welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Corey. I like to do tons of trash to treasure and thrift flips and curbside finds and things like that and fix over furniture. So if that's something that you're interested, then please hit that subscribe button down below to see more. Today's project is going to be really special. I am doing my first ever project for a somewhat like nonprofit or charity that I would like to start. So for my nonprofit slash charity, I want to find furniture things and fix them up for kids who are aging out of foster care. Foster care is something that has been in my heart for as long as I can remember, and I want to help any way that I can right now. So this is a way that I can help. I bought this trunk at a yard sale for $10, and the woman who I bought it from had said that it was her children's toy box 33 years ago. Her brother built it himself for her children, and I thought that was so sweet and just a great story. And she was actually asking $20 for it, but I only had a $10 bill, so I offered 10 and she took it, and then I had some help putting it in my car. I got a new car now, guys, so it doesn't fit as easily, but it was in really great shape. Something that I did to refinish this piece is I mixed together a lot of my leftover paints. Like, look at how old that paint is. A lot of you also might be thinking that these paints are way too far gone and I should just toss them, but they are not oil-based paints, so they can be mixed with water in order to like reactivate the paint back to what it was. So all these really thick paints that I have here, all you had to do was just add water in there, shake it up, mix it up with a stir stick, and it's like back to normal. So you'll see me do that with a few paints, and I'm going to just be mixing and seeing what colors I get for this piece. For this really old paint, I just used an old Halloween straw so that I could throw it away afterwards. Sometimes you just have to use what you have around you. Adding a little bit more water in there, and I'm just going to stir, 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 and shake, 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 shake until it resembles something like paint. I ended up finding more paints as I was going through this, and I decided to just keep on mixing and seeing what was going to happen. Yes, you can hear my son in the background. But as of right now, it was a light bluish gray color, and I'm adding it to a charcoal gray color. And I know that you might be thinking, well, like, what are you trying to achieve here? The thing I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to be less wasteful and use all the paints that I have. And in their small amount, I don't have enough to do much. So when I'm adding them together, like here's another one, and look at how chunky this one was. You might be thinking I'm crazy at this point, but I'm telling you, as long as you're mixing similar type paints together and they're all water-based, it will turn out just fine. But anyways, the paint color that I ended up getting was really beautiful, and now I have enough to do several projects instead of just a tiny bit of each color that can't get anything done. I found some more paints that were in a very different color spectrum than the paints I had already mixed, so I decided to do a two-tone effect on this piece of furniture, this trunk here. So with these other two, they were pretty similar in color, or at least they would go well together. One was a mint green and the other one was the turquoise that you guys actually voted for in one of my viewer choice videos. Well, when I mixed them both together, it was enough to do one whole project, or maybe a little bit extra after that. But it turned into this beautiful aqua blue color. Now I'm going to get into cleaning the piece. I just used some watered down pine sol, sprayed the whole thing down and let it sit for a few minutes, and then went back over it with a magic eraser that already has soap mixed into it. I really like using magic erasers for cleaning furniture. I know that there are a lot of products out there that work really well in removing grease and dirt and everything you can think of that could be on an old piece of furniture. I mean, you really never know. But I really like using a magic eraser. Sometimes I just use a magic eraser with water and then I spray the piece down with some disinfectant spray and wipe it off, or do it in the opposite order actually. But the magic eraser gets everything off. It's like, it really is magic. That's why they call it that. But I really go to this a lot. Here's that color I was telling you about. The underneath side is like a particle board, and I could have just left it alone and not painted it since you're really never going to see it, but I figured since it is that particle board, I want to make it to where it is water resistant, so just in case somebody spills something on the floor and it gets underneath there, or spills something in the trunk or whatever it may be, since I am going to be giving this to children who aged out of foster care, like they've already had enough go wrong in life, that I really don't want this piece of furniture to ever be something that doesn't work out for them. So I want to just make sure that I cover all my bases and paint every single piece of this piece so that it is more durable, lasts them longer, and makes them happier for longer. I feel like this color turned out looking really beachy on this piece. The whole piece was made out of beadboard that was like in a sheet form. It was kind of interesting, but when I painted the beadboard, it just gave it this like really beachy look, and my daughter was coming in and checking on it, and she always does that. She always likes to see what I'm doing, what colors I'm picking, and she came in and said, "Wow, this looks like something we would put our floaties in next to the pool." And I thought that was pretty cute that she said that, and it totally would make sense, especially considering it has those rope handles on there, which, let me just say for a second, I am amazed that those rope handles are still in the shape that they're in, considering the age of this piece and what it was used for. A lot of times handles like these that are not metal handles are gone. Here is that other color that I mixed. It is like a dark bluish gray, mostly gray though. And it is a chalk-based paint because I mixed tons of chalk paints together. So it stuck really well to everything in there and was nice and thick and covered in just one coat, which was pretty surprising actually. And the blue paint on the exterior was in a sort of satin finish, so I did not need to use any kind of clear coat over that. It was already nice and sealed because of the finish that it was. But I just made sure to cover every single inch in there to help protect that particle board that was in there, as well as just give it kind of a surprising pop inside. When you open it up, you're like, wow, this is pretty neat. I'm 30 years old, and I feel super out of touch with what young adults like and teenagers like. So I was just kind of thinking that the two tones would be kind of a cool thing. Let me know in the comments if you have a teenager that would think this is cool. I don't know. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed. But I just thought that these colors were kind of like young and fun. I don't know. Do I sound super cheesy right now? I feel like I'm sounding really cheesy. When I was done, I realized that the piece was just kind of short, and I thought that it might be cool to give it like a second purpose. So I thought this would make kind of a neat coffee table if it had wheels. And ignore my socks and sandals. I know, they're pretty cool, right? So I found some old beadboard in my garage. I have done tons of projects where I had beadboard involved, like super old antique beadboard, and this is some of the pieces that were left over from something that I had gotten for free and put in my laundry room. We had to actually tear the whole thing apart and rebuild it and make it a little bit smaller, so these were left over. I used Gorilla Glue. When you use Gorilla Glue, almost every single Gorilla Glue requires you to dampen the surface first with water. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just wiping it a little bit with a damp cloth and then putting the glue on, and then I will go back and nail the piece on with the glue under there so that it dries nice and tight with the piece on there, and then I will screw on the wheels to these pieces of wood. Had I screwed on the wheels to the particle board, over time those wheels would have just fallen right through that particle board when you put weight inside the box. So I wanted to make sure again that this piece is going to stand the test of time, and I know that for me, when I was a young adult, I didn't exactly take amazing care of my furniture when I first moved into my first place. So I'm kind of just keeping that in mind, that maybe it's going to get beat up a little bit over the years, and trying to make it as strong as I possibly can. Now that that's all painted to match, I'm going to put on my wheels. These wheels cost me about $6 from Home Depot for a set of 4. If you buy them in the set of 4 pack, which is kind of hidden at the bottom shelf, it is way cheaper than buying them like individually. Just make sure that you buy wheels that can turn in every direction instead of wheels that just go back and forth. That way you can move the piece of furniture you're doing in any direction. If you get the kind that only move back and forth, they are cheaper, yes, but then you won't be able to turn the piece or make it go in a circle or anything like that. It'll just be really hard to move. Here it is, all finished, you guys, and yes, my amazing socks and shoes. Look at that color inside. It just really gives it life in there, and it also is going to hide any kind of stains or dirt or any kind of bumps and bruises that it's going to get as it ages. On the wheels, it is much higher and would make for a really awesome coffee table for a young adult in their first home, and who knows, maybe someday they will go on to have children and make this a toy box for their children. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this color combination. If you have paints that are sitting around that are not enough to do a whole project, get out there and mix it up and see what you get. You'd be surprised. I've gotten a lot of amazing colors this way, so don't be afraid. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit a goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So it would really just mean so much to me if you could help me hit that goal. My family would be very proud.